Tax measures I'm going to share with you gives you an opportunity to be able to probably participate in some of the activities that these particular tax measures offer.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
Recently, our bus, which we use for tax education, was in West Nile. I don't know if anybody saw it. Thank you. And we really want taxpayers to know, the more you know about taxes, then the better you can pay. But also it helps us that then on our side, incidents of corruption will go down, because you will know your rights, you will know your responsibility, and nobody is going to take you for granted. And we are working on improving tax education so that taxpayers know the taxes they are supposed to pay, when they are supposed to pay, how they are supposed to pay.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
We have known that most of the money used to remain at central level, and this parliament took a decision to support executive that 1.2 trillion goes to the parishes. For the first time, people are going to have money at the parish, not even at sub-county level. But a lot of the money is going to go into the hands of the private sector who are here in procurement of implements, because our theme says full monetization of the Ugandan economy through commercial agriculture. We are an agricultural economy, and part of the 1.2 trillion is going into your hands. Are you prepared to make money out of the soil? As a leader, we have approved the money. As the taxpayers, we have charged them to go and collect the 25, which in turn will come to you. Are you prepared to go and till this soil so that commercial agriculture through industrialization happens?
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
Gange ninyo Immaculate okuruga mu Uganda Revenue Authority, turi hano hakaruzika Palace omuka gwentare ya Toro, abantu nywena bo mutoro turiho kubamanyisa ija hamukoro gwa budget breakfast hari hakari akotse sawemwe echencha nechanamshana byabusa.
Ekitongole ekisoroza emisoro mu ihanga lya Uganda echa Uganda Revenue Authority nikumanyisa iyo omuntu wa Footpoto omuntu wa Toro okwija kiro kya nyenche byokweza na mkago mwezi gwa mkaga mwaka 2022 a hoteli eyakali ya Court sana mu rugo rwa Footpoto nyabreo ijo manye ebirungi ebiri omumbalira eyo mwaka guno ogwa sente ogwa 2022 kandi oije osole kwa nomanya ebirungi ebiromo. Ekitongole nchongera kwa nchikwiducha iyo omusubuzi okhayo embalira yao ndokhayo ebhandiko bya kuoleka koko bino sasole misoro kandi naye atakasasuyo misoro bakusaba okole kintu eki ndosobole kusasole misoro yawe bitakekire byokwezi 13 omwezi ogwa mkaga omwaka gwa 2022 kyo chanyenche yokweza na mkaga omwezi ogwa mkaga omwaka gwa 2022 akali ya courts okulya nokunywa byona bitekanziwe haliyo wena areja okwetaba omo engagement yenu.
I'm called Basija Nicholas. I'm a resident of Fort Portal City. I do tailoring and fashion. I came to know about.
Hello, our dear listeners and those that are viewing us live on the URA TV. I take this opportunity to welcome you to today's webinar on amendments for the financial year 2020-2023 and bias in the area of customs for today's webinar specifically. My name is Rhoda Basemera, who will be moderating this session today. I am a customs officer working with the authority, and together with me, specialists, and these are the policy makers, these are the technical people, the arm of customs, that kind of make these recommendations. So I have with me the experts from tariff, Mr. Masiko. Say hi to the people.
Good morning, viewers and listeners. It's a pleasure being here.
That is Mr. Masiko El Nathan, the supervisor tariff. And together with us is Irene. You can introduce yourself.
Thank you so much, moderator. Thank you so much, viewers. My name is Irene Nsima. I'm a customs officer, tariff unit, Uganda Revenue Authority.
Thank you so much for joining in, and those that are still joining, we'll be waiting on you, or you will catch us along the way. It's the team with me here and my fellow staff out there for the exceptional performance for this financial year. As URA, we know we've collected over 22 trillion in the last financial year 2021-2022, which is actually the highest revenue figure that we've ever collected in Uganda's revenue mobilization history. So that is something to really be proud of. And of this 8.4 trillion out of the 22 trillion plus collected the last financial year was collected by customs. Now that was a performance of over 103%. Wow. Congratulations, customs, and this would not have been possible without you, the taxpayers. So first, I need to say thank you for paying your taxes. Thank you for being loyal for those that actually paid their taxes. For those that did, we are counting on you this financial year. Thank you for the great performance. We know it is not something, I can't say it's something that came easily, unless someone thinks it is. But given the economic situations and the downturn that was caused by the war, and knowing that we are recovering from the COVID-19 pandemic, that was exceptional performance. Now, like Mia Ham put it, celebrate what you have accomplished, but raise the bar a little higher each time you succeed. URA has now a bigger mandate to collect a financial target of over 25.5 trillion this financial year. Now that is out of the 48.1 trillion for the whole Ugandan budget, and that accounts for about 53%, yeah? So it is a great mantle that is ahead of us. Now, of this target, 9.42 is to be collected by customs. Now, this is an increase up from 8.4 trillion. That is by over 1 trillion. To achieve these targets and be able to attain Uganda's budget theme of full monetization of Uganda's economy through commercial agriculture, industrialization, expanding and broadening services, digital transformation, and market access, some new tax amendments have been made for the financial year 2020-2023. Today, we are here to specifically look at those amendments in the customs department. There are so many amendments that have been done, but this webinar will be focusing strictly on those amendments that are affecting customs. So you are an importer, you are an investor, you are a business person that wants to import. Customs is about importation and exportation of goods. So if that is your area of interest, please stay tuned with us. Now, without further ado, allow me go straight to the speakers this morning, our experts that are going to be taking us through. So, Irene, if I can start with you, we say ladies first. Would like to know, our taxpayers out there are eager, just like I am eager myself, to know what has changed. What are we changing? What are these new taxes that we are introducing for starters? What are these new taxes that we are introducing when it comes to customs? Thank you.
Thank you so much, moderator. And thank you so much, viewers. To begin with, probably let's first go through the layout of the presentation. We have new stays of application, which are very new. We have duty remission, that is deduction of rates from a certain percentage, and it is being reduced to another lower rate. Those are also new. Then we have stays of application, which we are carrying forward from the last previous financial year. Then we also have duty remission on raw materials for manufacturers, which we are also carrying forward from the previous financial year. Then we have a new tariff band, because we've been having 3 tariff bands, that is 0%, 10%, 25%. And in this new financial year, we are having a new CET 2022 version, where we are also adding the 4th band, which is at a rate of 35%. So we are also having some items that have also been affected.
CET to mean?
Common external tariff.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. So then we also have those new headings that have been created as a result of having the transition from the current CET that we've been using, that is 2017, but now we are going to take on 2022. So we are having new headings that have been created. We are also having subheadings that have also been added. Then we have other headings that have also been deleted. Then we also have other new, subheadings that have also been deleted. So we are here to explain all those parts. To begin with, we are having, like I've already mentioned, the new stays of application. We are having PVC trunkings under subheadings of 391740, as well as 392590. We are having a stay of application from 25% to 35%. We are also having a change on rates for surgical gloves under those HS codes of 40, 15, 12, where we are having an import duty being increased from 0% to 10%. Then we are also having other articles of plastics under subheading 392690, where we are also having an increment from 10%, and then we apply an import duty rate of 25%. Then another stay, we have it on brakes, including coaster braking hubs of subheading 871494, where we are having an application of duty rate of 25% instead of 10%. So all those new stays are applicable for one financial year, which we have started. So we go to part 2, where we are having new raw materials and industrial inputs, where our duty has been remitted on those items. We are having paper and paperboard, uncoated craft paper. We are having paper or paperboard labels for specifically manufacturers of packaging materials, as well as manufacturers of surgical and medical examination gloves. So we are building capacity. That is why we are having a duty remission, where duty has been reduced for those manufacturers of medical and surgical examination gloves. Then we are having duty, which has also been remitted on glues, as well as uncoated craft paper and paperboard, where Uganda was granted a remission on different rates under those subheadings. For those that are 35%, duty has been remitted to 10%. Those that have been at a rate of 10, they have been reduced to 0%. We are encouraging manufacturers of these packaging materials, those who are also into manufacturing exercise books, so that they can be able to build more capacity. That is why we are having duty being remitted to those lower rates. Then we are also having manufacturers of mattresses. Initially, we had around 2 HS codes or harmonized system codes where those manufacturers used to lie. But for this financial year, we've added more items for manufacturers of mattresses. We are having catalytic preparations for manufacturing foam and spring mattresses. And we have a duty that has been reduced from 10% to 0% to be able to build capacity for mattress manufacturers. Then we also have other springs and leaves still for the same manufacturers of mattresses, where the duty has been remitted from 35% to 10%, also still on the same issue of encouraging manufacturing. Then we also have a new remission on motorcycle tubes, specifically for those manufacturers who are manufacturing motorcycle tubes. We are having valves, which they use as their raw materials, and we are granting a remission on that duty to 0% for this specific financial year. Then we are also having, still on the same motorcycles, we are having brake lining and pads, brakes and brake pads, and then even other adhesive glues, still for manufacturers of motorcycle brake shoes. So all this is being done to promote manufacturing and promote BUBU, Buy Uganda, Build Uganda. Basically those are the few or the many that have been granted remission on duty to a lower rate. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Irene. As you spoke about this, is duty remission to every, it's about manufacturers, right? If I got you clearly, it's not for those that are importing if you're not a manufacturer. So maybe that is the clarity that I needed us to have, and know that the duty remission applies to manufacturers and not just an individual importer. So if you really want to get into the manufacturing business, then you need to go through the dynamics of registering, and then registering with the association of the manufacturers for you to be able to benefit from this. And then you can come to customs, the tariff section, and then you will be granted these exemptions. Now, if I may turn to Mr. Masiko, or before I turn to him, to our listeners out there that joined us along the way, today we are discussing the new tax amendments for the financial year 2022-2023, those that are biased in the customs section. So we are focusing on the tax amendments that are affecting Customs, and Rhoda Basemera is my name, and I am the moderator. We've had Irene speak to us, and we'll be moving to Mr. Masiko Elnathan, the supervisor in tariff. So Mr. Masiko, let's look at what has stayed or renewed, what has been stayed when it comes to the taxes, what has been stayed, what has been renewed, and what we consider as the list of raw materials, really. So because I had Irene say we are giving tax remission majorly, and we are reducing taxes on raw materials to be able to promote industrialization. So would want to understand, what are we considering under the list of raw materials?
Thank you very much, moderator. Good morning once again. Yes, indeed, for the financial year 2022-2023, we've had stays that have been renewed. They are still very critical for the development of our economy. And stay number one is on special projects. The government of Uganda, time and again, has special projects, and they are to operate in a special operating framework arrangement with the government of Uganda. And there, the ministry gives the guidelines, and once a taxpayer who has a special project wants to take benefit of this, will now go to the Minister of Finance and will be able to be given that. It allows him importation of goods with no import duty, and that one will foster investment and promote growth in different sectors. It can be in the hotel sector, it can be in the manufacturing sector, but all that is in the confines of the Ministry of Finance. Then the second one is on fabrics. As Uganda strives to have our own locally manufactured fabrics, yes, indeed, there has been a rate of 35% and a specific dollar rate imposed on these particular products. As you are well aware, we have industries that do the entire value chain, from fiber, then to yarn, then from yarn they do fabrics, then after fabrics they put flowers and make the bed sheets. So once we do the entire value chain, it will help on our cotton to redevelop again and have our cotton growing areas harnessing the same. That also goes for garments, where the rate has also been put from 35% or US dollars 3.5, whichever is higher, for 1 year. And also that is important in creation of jobs. As you do the entire value chain from the farm to the factory, now to the garmenting, which is now doing the tailoring. Gone are the days when we used to have our uniforms made by the tailors in front of the shops. Those shop tailors have since phased out, but we are hoping now that skill comes up. We'll have many of these coming back, and big industry operations in manufacturing that will employ our youth. Next is crude palm oil. The rate is from 0% to 10%. This is majorly to promote local growth of other alternative sources of oil. As you are aware, we get oil from sunflower. The President was graceful and guided that indeed these are alternatives that we can harness in our country. Get palm oil from our own palm Kalangala, get other areas opened up to grow local palm, have sunflower, have groundnut, have soya, all those where we shall be extracting local sources of oil, cooking oil. And therefore, when we're inward looking, then we become self-sustaining. Then we have non-alcoholic beers and ready-to-drink juices. The import duty rate of 60% has been applicable. Juices, you are well aware, we have so many mangoes. A lot of farmers are engaged in the growing of oranges. This is one area that we continue to harness and ensure that we have local sources of these juices. Same goes for gumboot linings. gumboots are indeed a household item, especially for the farmers. It is critical that we have this as one of those inputs that the gumboot manufacturers are using to manufacture gumboots. So we have local producers, and the rate of 35% is to protect them. Uganda is also a net producer of transformers. This has been going on for quite a while, and the capacity has grown. Many companies have joined this sector, and the rate has been put to 25 to ensure that all factories, all startup companies buy local transformers to promote local content. Next is the polymers. Those are printed plastic labels. Those have also been stayed to 35% from 25 to protect also local printeries. And these majorly, we have a number of them on Nasa Road, on Kuruma Road, and also established factories that are actually doing printing for these billboards, those that you see. So this is the item that we are trying to protect, and the rate has been increased from 25 to 35 a year. Then we've had also the beverages from artificial extracts. The rate of 35% shall be applicable. That is according to the new CET rate of the 22 version. Then we've had also self-adhesive plates, where we have the likes of sellotape. Sellotape, we are net producers of sellotape, and the rate has been adjusted to 35% produce, so that we can produce enough for our local market. Then we have polymers of propylene, 39-2020. The rate has also been increased to 35%, also to promote local printing in this particular area. Then mobile phones, ladies and gentlemen, Uganda is a producer of mobile phones. The rate has been adjusted from 0% to 10% to encourage local production of mobile phones. The other day we were standing proud and indicating that we are now net exporters of locally manufactured phones. So this is a milestone for Uganda, and this is meant to protect the industry. Then we've had used clothing. The rate has been stayed as well from removing the fixed duty rate of 0.4, and only the rate of 35% shall be applicable to enable our local consumers to take benefit of these products which we consume in great numbers. Road tractors for semi-trailers, these are the front part of the trailers. They help in haulage, long haulage of goods, more specifically as we compete with our regional partners. As you are aware, most of the trucks that ply our roads are registered by the neighboring countries. So Uganda is also trying to make inroads in having road tractors for semi-trailers also participating very vibrant in this very vibrant industry for road transport. Then motor vehicles for the transport of goods. The gross vehicle weight is between 5 and 20. These are the Fuso fighters, that category. The rate has been reduced to 10% because we want more of these trucks to do haulage of these Irish potatoes, matoke, cassava from the upcountry places to bring them to the city centers or the towns. So this is meant to ease on transport. Then motor vehicles for the transport of goods with gross vehicle exceeding 20 tons, the rate has been put back to 0% instead of 25. The intention is here to have the Maguru Kumi, the Sino trucks, those 12-tire trucks or 10-tire trucks benefiting from this rate of 0%, so that we can also participate in this ESC transport industry. Then wheelbarrows, we are also net manufacturers of wheelbarrows. There's a saying that when you consume something, you produce it. So we are also producing local wheelbarrows, and the rate has been adjusted from 10 to 25 to protect our local manufacturers. Same goes for honey. Honey is also sometimes imported all the way from the United States of America. We also get honey from the United Arab Emirates. I'm not sure whether they do have bees like we have, but we have a lot of this in our Middle-East. A lot of honey comes from Arua, and we intend to protect local honey at a rate of 60% instead of 25% per year. Then we also manufacture tires. The rate has been adjusted from 25 to 35, and this will also be going for 1 year to protect our local manufacturers of tires. We have about now 3 players, local manufacturers of tiles, who are actually participating in this very great space. Television sets, we have assemblers. The rate is 35% instead of 25%. These assembly facilities have helped transfer skills, demystify the television set, know what components are inside. Our students of Chambogo, our students on technical institutes are now all benefiting from these assembly plants to try and benefit from getting these jobs. Toys at the rate of 25% have been adjusted to 35%. To help bridge the gap in terms of revenue. We've also had frozen meats. We import meat from South Africa, we import meat from the United States, and our local farmers sometimes are aged out, and this is meant purposely to ensure that our local farmers are also competing favorably with some of these heavily subsidized products that come in at very low prices. So that the local chicken or bovine or meat of sheep is not affected, and therefore the rate of percent has been reinstated. Peanut butter, locally known as OD, is also protected at the rate of 60%. We also get a lot of it from the United Arab Emirates, also from the United States, and also South Africa. Yet OD is in great quantities here in Uganda. So the rate of 60% has been imposed. Then we have mechanically deboned meat, chicken meat. This is meat extracted from bones. This is majorly to promote the use of local meats, to promote sausage manufacturing. This also is on paper labels. Uganda is also manufacturing these labels, as I mentioned, Kuruma Road, Nasa Road. Then lithium-ion batteries. These are also new technology which has not yet come to Uganda. So the rate has been stayed from 35 to 0 to promote usage of these lithium-ion batteries. Then cocoa powder. As you know, we grow a lot of cocoa in Bundibujo and all those areas that we are now coming up to take benefit of this. The rate has been put to 35%. Then insecticides are also at 35%. As you know, we also grow local flowers to extract insecticides, and this is meant to promote these insecticides and the substitutes for the insecticides to help us on the fight against malaria. Then under 1901, these are DAOs, baker's preparations. These majorly, sometimes we import frozen chapati called parathi, all the way from India, and this one is indeed tending to outcompete our local commando manufacturers, I would call them, and therefore if a chapati comes in when it's already made, then it tends to outcompete our local people who do all the way from grain to flour, then from flour to chapati. So this one is meant to protect the final product from being very cheap. Tarpaulins, we also manufacture them. We have very vibrant industries that manufacture tarpaulins, which we use to dry our coffee, to dry our maize, so that it is free of aflatoxins. Ceramic toilet seats and cisterns, we're also manufacturing these, more specifically in our factories that I've just mentioned earlier. Mama kit, very important kit for our mothers, as it helps in delivery. So it constitutes of surgical blade, it has cotton wool, it has soap. So that kit is very critical in birth, and therefore the rate has been made 0%. Pneumatic tires, Uganda is also a proud exporter of tires of motorcycles. We have a very big factory in Mukono doing these tires, and they are exporting to all the partner states and also supplying our local market. So the rate is 35% for that particular product. Then we have wire of non-alloy or alloy steel. Uganda is also putting a rate of 35% or $350 per metric ton, whichever is higher. We have many factories manufacturing these wires. We also have flat-rolled products of iron or non-alloy steel products. Those ones also have been increased at the rate of 25 or US dollars 200, whichever is higher. These are the mabati, which we have factories manufacturing locally here. That goes also for the other products in the same category as the iron sheets. and the rate has also been adjusted for $35 or $350 per metric ton, whichever is higher. Yes, many hydropower plants have come up, and most of the hydropower plants use penstock pipes of 3917, which are made of plastic. We have those of 17, which are made of glass, 70. Then 73, those are made of metal. And these penstock pipes help direct water into the turbines for purposes of water generation. And we have not started producing them, and therefore the rate has been put to 0%. Then we have also liquefied petroleum gas containers. These are LPG containers. They help us, transport of gas. But the rate is 35 instead of 0. The reason is because we have local manufacturers of these gas cylinders. So this is meant to protect them and create jobs locally. Barley, we are growers of barley in Kapchorwa, 10% instead of 25%. Lubricants, we have very many factories in Uganda making lubricants. So in the spirit of import substitution, lubricants have been put at the rate of 35% instead of 25%. That also goes for greases, also goes for blankets. Blankets, we also produce them in large quantities and we export them to our regional partners. Then also steel articles of subheading of 721030 have also been put at a rate of 25% or $350 per metric ton, protect our local manufacturers of these steel products. Toothbrushes, we have these in plenty. Local manufacturers are making toothbrushes, so the rate has been put to 60% to protect them and create more jobs. Then we have ballpoint pens. The rate has been put to at 60% instead of 35%. We have also deep cycle batteries or accumulators, which exclude lithium-ion batteries. The rate is 35% to protect the likes of Uganda batteries. We have also other manufacturers in Jinja who are also making these golden tide batteries. A number of them are actually manufacturing this. Then we have coated electrodes, which are used for welding. Safety matches have also been adjusted because we make them in plenty. That also goes for cash registers, where we have electronic fiscal devices used for filing our returns for VAT. The rate has been reduced from 10% to 0 for purposes of ensuring that we do electronic filing of these returns. Then we have also bathrobes and clothes dryers, which are also in the category of the hotel industry. The rate has been adjusted to 0% to help the industry grow further, so that the more we have 5-star, 4-star, 3-star hotels, Uganda becomes a tourist destination. So this is a trade-off by government to ensure that we have this harnessed expeditiously. So we have also those who manufacture toughened glass, which doesn't easily break. The Uganda has adjusted the rate of 10 to 25% to protect those who are manufacturing it locally. That goes for chemical fluting paper. The rate has been adjusted from 10 to 25 to also protect local manufacturers. Uganda is churning our waste paper into fluting paper, and that one is used again to make corrugated boxes. So you can see that money is remaining within the economy. Then uncoated paper, paperboard not further worked. There's also a stay from 10% to 25%, still in the same vein. We have also manufacturers of side mirrors, back mirrors, dashboard, meter clock, indicator, point winker lamps. The rate has been adjusted to 25 to protect these particular industries. Then we have also gas rings, plate warmers. The rate has been also adjusted from 25 to 10 for 1 year for purposes of promoting liquid fuel usage instead of cutting down our forests. Then we also have wires of alloyed steel. Uganda has been given a stay of 10% to 0% for 1 year, purposely for manufacturing, to promote local manufacturers of nails, those who make the chain links. This stay is purposely to promote local production of those items. Then pot scorers and scoring polishing pads and gloves and the like, they have also been stayed at the rate of 35 for 1 year, and that is for purposes of promoting local industry. So I'll continue with the remission of duty on raw materials and industrial inputs for the manufacture of goods. It has also been renewed. Why? To promote local production of these items. And I mentioned earlier that we are net producers of mobile phones. Uganda is a proud producer of mobile phones, smart, those touch screen, plus also the Bupesa type, which is for pressing. So those ones we all manufacture here and we export the same. So the inputs for the assembly and manufacture of these mobile phones is at 0%. The unassembled layered CFL light emitting diodes or compact fluorescent light bulbs, the remission has been made to 0% to promote local assembly. Like I mentioned earlier, the government is trying to demystify the internal components. Why do you use a bulb without knowing how it works? So the youth will promote, they'll start making some of these parts locally, and before you know, we shall be producing our own bulbs in Uganda. That goes well for the speakers. Mechanically deboned chicken, this is particularly for those who are manufacturing sausages. You remember up there we had it at 60%, but here it is at 30%, 35% to promote local manufacture of sausages. That goes for greaseproof paper. That one is for people who manufacture cheese. The rate has been put to 0%. Jacquard material has also been put on for purposes of those who make spring mattresses. It must be printed with the logo. Aluminium craft liner in rolls and bleached craft liner in rolls, that is for Uganda at 0%. We've also had aluminium wire for manufacturers of cable, the internal core cable manufacturer, and that one is rated at 0%. So we have also plates, film, foil and strips of plastics. Uganda has been granted 0% for 1 year for purposes of ensuring that we make our own labels. The ones that we mentioned earlier, which are printed. Unassembled flat irons, demystify. Unassembled DVD players, demystify. Unassembled blenders. Unassembled water kettles. Unassembled floor fans. Unassembled cookers. All of these have been reduced to 10 and 0% for purposes of ensuring that our children, when they leave universities, can start with the internal components of these items for purposes of posterity. So parts of chains for assembles of chains for motorcycles or industrial machinery. We also have a manufacturer who makes these chains for bicycles and also machinery. Then we have also glass. Uganda has been granted 0% for those who manufacture the toughened glass that we mentioned earlier. Then also edible salt. This is the raw salt. We have about 2-3 plants in Uganda now manufacturing salt so that we don't depend on imported salt. So this also goes for the steel blanks, for spoons and forks. We have companies that are doing the finishing of these particular products. Inputs for manufacture, you've noted His Excellency the President has promoted furniture in this country by donating machines to different groups, and this is one other measure that is harnessing the growth of this industry in Uganda. Then we have umbrella heads for roofing nails. We also have high tensile galvanized wire for manufacturers as well. Aerosol cans, we make these aerosol products like the aerosol hair products. Most of our local cosmetic companies are using these products to manufacture what we consume. That goes for organic surface agents for using in manufacturing the liquid soap, the ones that you see our mothers making from our cottage industries at home. This is the raw material. Then 3208, those are paints for those who are manufacturing decorative panels. Uganda is also trying to elevate our export capability. We have also plastic bags for packaging coffee. As we look at roasting our own coffee, these are the vacuum bags that help in promoting packaging of coffee. The zinc-coated coils, Uganda is also getting a 0% for 1 year for those which are 2.5 millimeters and above. We have also odoriferous substances used in the manufacture of drinks. These are the flavors that are put in some of these drinks that we consume. Then energy stoves, energy saving stoves, ladies and gentlemen, some of these are sitting on our exemption regime, but the public out there has not taken advantage of them. We see many of the energy saving stoves being manufactured in, I see a very big shop around Mengo, a lot of them in Katwe. We need them to take advantage of these materials so that the stove is made cheaper. So there's a remission of 0% for these energy saving stoves for those who manufacture them. then anionic surface agents, and those. That also goes for Uganda's list of raw materials, which has been reduced to a few 10, 11 items. For juices, as we manufacture our own juice, we need to blend it with other juices to make a good flavor. So the manufacturers have requested for this. That goes for petroleum jelly, where we use to make the Movit jellies and the like. Then craft liner in sheets, soft craft paper in rolls, craft paper. This has also been used to manufacture the local corrugated boxes. And the rates have been reduced from 10 to 0 and also 25 to 10 for purposes of promoting this industry. So that's what I can say for now, as those that have been extended for purposes of ensuring that our industries thrive and survive in the competition as we compete with the other regional partner states for purposes of the local market. I submit.
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Masiko. For those that joined us, Mr. Masiko Elnathan is the supervisor in tariff, and he has been taking us through what has changed, what new taxes are being increased, and from his presentation, I actually realized that URA or customs is not just about increasing taxes all the time. We are cognizant of what is happening in our environment and in our economy, that we have had to reduce taxes on some items. Just in case you missed which those items are, this presentation is going to be made available on URA TV on YouTube. Just in case you have not subscribed, go there and subscribe and look out for this presentation. It will be uploaded. And I can gladly say, Irene and Masiko and the rest of the tariff team and the trade experts, I think you've done a great job in disseminating this information, because in our chat room or in our question and answer, I don't see any question that is coming up or has come up. For me, that is kudos. I believe this information has reached out to the people. The people have appreciated or are able to understand this information. You've broken it down to the bare minimum for every taxpayer to understand. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be taking a commercial break shortly, and when we return, we'll be able to talk about now the new tariff in a layman's language, that is the tariff book, or what we call the tariff book, and the expert Irene called CET. That is, we are going to be discussing, I know, to the clearing agents or the fraternity out there. Some of you may, if you have been used to doing things in an old way, may have gone starting the 1st of July and tried to capture some things under the HS codes that you are used to capturing them, and you can't find them. And then suddenly you're able to find other HS codes. So just for those that may not know, starting 1st July, right? There is a new tariff, that is the CET, that has been introduced. It's CET 2022. So when we come back, the experts are going to be taking us through what exactly has changed. What have they removed? What have they added? Okay? And after that, we'll go into any questions and answers that will have come in. In case you have questions from whatever has already been presented, in regard to customs tax amendments for 2022-2023, please go to our chat room, go to the question and answer section on the webinar, and then type in your question and we'll answer you right away. Thank you. Please stay with us.
I came to get a tin. I was passing by and I saw a bus. So I was forced to come here and get one. It was not hectic because it didn't take much time, like 5 minutes or less. Very happy. I'm still training with National Water, and without a tin, you cannot be. I'm called Natmanya Scovia. I came to get a tin. I was passing by and I saw a bus, so I was forced to come here and get one. It was not hectic because it didn't take much time, like 5 minutes or less. Very happy. I'm still training with National Water, and without a tin, you cannot be employed. I encourage everyone out there who is not having a tin to come and register, because I know the world that is coming without a tin, you will not be able to do anything.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
Acquiring a tin is now easier than ever before with a new interface that is brief, simple, and cuts out all the excess fields from previous applications. All you need is your national ID or driver's license or passports and internet access, and you're good to go. No more waiting in long queues, as you can now acquire a tin instantly from wherever you are. Remember, it's free. Experience our new and improved modern interface that is user-friendly.
Thank you for paying your taxes.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
Kapo, you seem to be in a hurry. Where are you going to?
I'm gonna pay URA visit.
Why would anyone visit URA? Of all places?
To know more about the Kakasa business solutions, namely digital tracking solution, the voluntary disclosure program, and electronic fiscal receipting and invoicing solution, which have turned my business around. You know I need to be on top of my game to protect my empire. If you know, you know.
I too need to know what Kapo knows.
Kakasa, be sure you are in charge of your business. Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
In chess, the small one can become the big one. It's the same here. And here too. Watch every move. Record every number so you can plan better. No matter the size of your dream, tomorrow's success belongs to those who keep today's records clean. File your returns today.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
Wait, Abu, tunamaliriza. And what are you doing throwing papers all over the place?
I'm looking for an invoice for a sound system and cables that I received yesterday, but I can't find it.
You know there is a way of keeping all this in one place and available to you as and when you need it.
I really wish there was one, because the way these invoices grow legs and disappear.
I believe this is what you're looking for.
Now how did it get there?
Habo! Do you know that with EFRIS, you can stay on track of all your business transactions and improve on your record keeping?
How so?
Kati tuli ku computer with EFRIS. I just search using the fiscal document number and I retrieve the records I'm looking for. Bookkeeping becomes simple after that.
Kapo, awesome, yeah.
I began using URS Kakasa Solutions and now I'm in charge of my business. And you can as well.
Kakasa, be sure you are in charge of your business.
Uganda Revenue Authority. Developing Uganda together.
In chess, the small one can become the big one. It's the same here. And here too. Watch every...
Thank you for staying with us. And just like you can see on your screen, we are still discussing the new tax amendments for 2022-2023. The team of experts from Tariff Trade Division have taken us through what to expect, what has been changed, what has been increased, what has been reduced, duty remission, or the raw materials that we are giving a duty remission. All that has been discussed, and in this next part of the session, would like to go through the CET. This is a document that we use to classify our goods, and I will call on Irene Ninsima to straight take us into that. Thank you, Irene.
Thank you so much, Moderator. Like I already mentioned when we were starting, we have a fourth band. Literally, it means import duty rate. We've been having 3 different rates at 0%, at 10%, at 25%. Now we are having the fourth tariff band, a new rate on import duty, which is now at 35%. And some items have also been affected because of that rate, and they've been increased to 35%. So some of these items include dairy products. Dairy products, we have like milk, we have cheese, we have butter, we have yogurt. So all those dairy products and those different HS codes, their rates have been increased, or they've been, in the new CET, we are having them at 35%. However, on these same rates, we are having some items where we are having stays of application of the new tariff book, and some of them, as much as they are 35% in the tariff book, they still have been increased to 60% because some of these items we manufacture them locally here. That is why their rates still are increased, so that we promote local manufacturing because we believe we have enough dairy products, and therefore we should be able to consume what we have in Uganda. So that is why some of them still will have been affected, and we shall apply a duty rate of 60%. Those are dairy products. Then we have meat products. For example, sausages. If those who have already accessed the new tariff book, we are having them at 35%. However, as I've already mentioned, we have enough meat on local market. So that has also been still increased to 60%, regardless of the CET mentioning 35% to promote local manufacturing. Then we have potatoes, those which are fresh, those which are chilled. In the new tariff book, we are having them at 35%, but the fact that we have enough on the local market, we are also still increasing them to 60%, so that we have enough, because we believe what we have is enough for all of us to consume. We have tomatoes. Tomatoes, in the new tariff book, they're appearing at 35%. Then tomato sauce, it is tomato sauce. In the new tariff book, we are having tomato sauce at 35%. However, we also believe and we know that we have enough tomatoes in Uganda. That is why we are still leaving the 35% and we are applying a 60% rate on import duty. Then we have ice cream. Ice cream, we are having it at 35% in the new CET book, the tariff book. Onions, garlic, under those different subheadings, they're also appearing in that new tariff book at 35%. Then we are having cabbages, broccoli, all those vegetables, we are having them at 35% in the new tariff book, as well as agricultural produce. We are also having them at 35% in the new CET or tariff book. Vegetables, fruits, different fruits, nuts, juices, grapes, we are all those are appearing at 35% in the new CET or tariff book. Then cereals, the flours, we are also having them at 35% in the new tariff book. Coffee, whether it is roasted or not, then tea, we are having them at 35% in the new tariff book. However, we are also having a stay of application of that 35%, and we are applying a duty rate of 60 for this financial year because we believe we have enough tea in Uganda, we believe we have enough coffee. So to encourage local manufacturing and local consumption, that is why the duty has been still, we've left the 35% and we are increasing it to 60%. We are having pepper, cloves, ginger, that has also been adjusted to 35% in the new CET. But however, like I mentioned, we know we have enough ginger, we have enough pepper, we have enough cloves. So those ones have also been stayed from 35% to 60% for this new financial year. Then we are having wheat grain and mesclun under those HS codes. They've also been adjusted in the new tariff book at 35%. However, we are still having a stay of application of that 35%, and we are applying a duty rate of 60 to encourage local manufacturing as well as local consumption. Then we have molasses at different subheadings, 170310. Those ones have stayed at 35%, and they're appearing at that rate in the new tariff book. Sugar and sugar confectionery, it is also applicable at a duty rate of 35% in the new CET, as well as chocolates and different preparations that contain cocoa. They're also appearing in the CET at 35%. However, we are having still a stay of that 35%, and we are applying a duty rate of 60% for this financial year, still to encourage local consumption. Then we have confectionery and other bread, pastry, cakes, biscuits, other baker's ware, all those at a duty rate of 35% in the new CET. But we are also having a stay of application of that duty rate of 35%, and we are applying a duty rate of 60%, because we believe we have enough of those and we can be able to consume what we have and to promote local content. We have edible oils, granules, olive oils, palm oils, sunflower oils, coconut oils, all those in that new CET or the tariff book, they're appearing at 35%. However, we are also having a stay of application of that 35%, and we have increased the duty rate to 60% because we have enough edible oils in Uganda, and we believe we need to protect what is ours as well as support the local manufacturers of the same. We are having different extracts of coffee as well as tea, where we are having them at 35% in this new tariff book. Water, it is also applicable at a duty rate of 35% in this new book, tariff book. However, we are also staying that application of the 35, and we are increasing it to 60% because we have enough water in Uganda. That is enough for all of us. So we don't need to import. So whoever is willing to import then is to a disadvantage to be able to pay at a 60% rate of import duty. Then we are having beverages, wines, spirits, vinegar, all those in the new CET book or the tariff book, they are appearing at 35%. Cigarettes and tobacco, they are also appearing at 35% in the new tariff book. Then we are having salt, cement, which are also applicable at a duty rate of 35. In the new CET, we are having fresh cut flowers. They are also appearing at a duty rate of 35. Artificial flowers, human hair, wigs, eyebrows, eyelashes, all those are appearing at 35% in the new tariff book. Then sugar and confectionery, they are also appearing at a duty rate of 35. Textile and garments, they are appearing at a duty rate of 35 in the new tariff book. However, we are also having a stay of that 35%, and we are applying different duty rates at 0%, at 10%, at 25%, and then we are applying a duty rate of 35% or USD $3 per kilogram, whichever is higher for this financial year. Then hats and other headgears, we are also having them at 35% under that HS code. On paints and varnishes, we are having them at 35% in the new tariff book. Beauty or makeup preparations, different perfumes, we are having them at 35% in the new tariff book. Polishes, creams of footwear, of shoes, we are having them at 35% in the new CET or the tariff book. Candles, soap and organic surface active products, all those we are having them at 35% in the new tariff book. Then we are also having wooden frames of paintings. We are having them at a duty rate of 35% in the new CET. Then envelopes, toilet paper, cartons, registers, paper and paperboard labels, exercise books, we are having them at 35% in the new CET. As I mentioned earlier, we already have a duty remission on manufacturers of exercise books. So this has also still been stayed, and we are going to apply a duty rate of 60% to encourage local manufacturing and also promote and protect the local manufacturers. Then we are having printed matter, postcards, calendars, They're also appearing in the new CET or tariff book at 35%, as well as sacks and bags. They're also appearing at 35%. Then waterproof or footwear, or what we can call shoes, have also been put at a duty rate of 35% in the new tariff book. Roofing tiles, ceramic flags and paving, ceramic sinks, wash basins, they are appearing at a duty rate of 35% in the new tariff book. Iron sections, barbed wires, springs and leaves, all those iron products are appearing at a duty rate of 35% in the new tariff book. Then we are having primary cells and primary batteries. In the new tariff book or the new CET, they are appearing at a duty rate of 35%. Furniture is also appearing at a duty rate of 35% in the new tariff book. Mattress supports, they are also appearing at a duty rate of 35%. So that is the new tariff band that has been added onto the previous ones that we have, where we have at 0%, at 10%, at 25%, and now we have the 35% that has been regularized in the new CET book. All
right. Wow. you dropped us in the middle of, yeah, guys, that's it. Oh, thank you so much, Irene. Thank you for the informative discussion that you've given unto us and our listeners and viewers out there. I believe there's so much that we are picking and learning. I see investors out there getting their questions answered. I see the clearing agents and clearing fraternity getting clarity on the things that have the questions they have been having, and I'm impressed that all this is aimed at developing Uganda. All these initiatives are being taken with the focus of what is actually happening on ground. So I think this is the opportunity for us out there. If you have the money, reach out. Go for the Emyoga initiative that the government is putting out for the parish model. Go out for the Emyoga, get the money, invest in agriculture. We are saying these things that we are producing locally here, we're increasing the taxes of importing them so that we create market for those things. I saw wheelbarrows, I saw honey, I had peanut butter, tiles, paper labels, tarpaulin. All those are opportunities, garlic, onions. So let's go out there. We are into agriculture, we are into industrialization, and I am very sure together we will develop this country and will become economically independent. Thank you so much for staying with us. We'll be taking on a few minutes to just address about 2 or 3 questions that have come in. We are having this first will go to Mr. Masiko. The person just put it, this was Ivan and Rachel, 2 people. Ivan and Rachel said a recap on garments. So I think you actually talked about garments in this financial year, the taxes that relate to them. So you'll do a little recap on that. And then after that, or before that, you can take on this. Someone else is asking, I'm inquiring about, this is Kajimo. Kajimo has an inquiry about land stamp duty and import duty for trucks. Unfortunately, we will not handle the stamp duty, the land stamp duty for today because of the scope of what we are dealing with, but should be able, we'll type for you the answer in regard to the stamp duty. Mr. Masiko, the person needs to know the import duty for trucks that are 2 to 7 tons. 2 to 7 tons. So they need to know the import duty of those trucks. And then Irene, you'll have one question, which seems a statement, and picking from your, the person did not leave a name, but just say, good morning panels, this is Charles from Malaba Border, and my question is, does URA take steps to understand why people continue importing, even when we are producing some items locally? Because he says, because to him or to me it is an issue related with quality, and if only the government could first take survey of the market and ensure that local manufacturer produce the same quality of goods that the population is continuing to import, so that the protection of these manufacturers would be understood. So Irene, in your presentation, you've been telling us about boo-boo industrialization, protecting those that are already in the industry. And this listener is saying the quality. Oh, do you, as the policy makers, go in and understand what exactly is on ground? Or, yeah, you will answer that. First, we'll start with Mr. Masiko.
Yeah, thank you very much, moderator, for that question. Yes, a recap on garments and fabrics. Yes, we mentioned that there are fabrics which are at 10 or 25 in the CET, but the rate has been adjusted to 35% or $3 per kilo, whichever is higher. And there is a range of those commodity codes, as we've shared on different fora. The Gazette notice is out, and you can always see those particular tariff lines that have been affected by these changes. So there is a specific duty rate on some garments, and those garments are listed by HS codes. Those fabrics are also listed by HS codes, and in that regard there is a Gazette notice. So kindly look at that Gazette notice we've shared with the clearing fraternity. We've also have it published on the website for the East African community. We're also going to have it published on the URA website, so that you can download that Gazette and see those HS codes that are affected in this regard. So unless otherwise, the Honorable Minister of Finance could vary the list, but now as it stands in the current Gazette is that indeed the $3 per kg for garments is applicable, for fabrics is applicable, and $3.5 for the garments is applicable for those specific tariff lines that we have listed in that Gazette. Then for trucks, 2 tons to 7 tons, yes, we usually have a definite figure. It is either 4 tons or 3.5 tons. So I'll mention 2 to 5 tons, the import duty is 25%. Then 5 plus, but below 20 tons, the rate is 10%. So 7 tons would attract 10%, then 2 tons would attract 25%. I believe I've answered the question. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Maseko. Let's go to Irene.
Thank you so much, moderator. Thank you so much, the viewers. There's a question on quality and how do we ensure that, how do we get to know that this person is manufacturing? Before we get, or before we usually get applications for different raw materials to manufacture different items. And when we find that that manufacturer or that company is new to us, we constitute a team, usually represented by Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Trade, UMA, as well as us, URA. And then we are able to go and visit that company or that manufacturer to understand their operations, and be able to find out whether they are eligible for that duty remission on those raw materials they will have requested for. So after doing that verification visit, we have a report that we compile, and then we are able to sit and evaluate and be able to find out whether this company shall qualify for duty remission or not. So in terms of procedure, yes, we follow. In terms of quality, yes, we find out. And then after a period of time, those steel manufacturers are supposed to submit quarterly returns on those raw materials they always we grant duty remission on. And at the end of the financial year, because this duty remission is usually for a financial year, so when it ends, we still go back and be able to evaluate whether the company is picking up or not, whether it has closed or not. And then we are able to re-evaluate and be able to find out whether we should still grant the remission in the next financial year or not. So that is the procedure that we follow. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Irene. Thank you so much, Masiko Elnathan, Irene Nsima, our panelists for today, and Rhoda Basemera, who has been the moderator. And thank you, our listeners, for staying with us and keeping with us. I believe with all this that has been put out to us, the target, URA's target of 25.5 trillion is achievable. It is actually achievable. You and me will make this possible, and we'll be able to finance our budget really by 53%. In case you missed this, or in case you joined along the way and missed a part of this presentation or this webinar, please reach out on our go on our line platforms. You can catch us on YouTube, to be specific, URA TV. This will be uploaded for you. The document has been shared to those that were in the chat room. It was shared, and we'll liaise to have it uploaded on the Customs Help tool. Now, on the Customs Help tool under User Guide, you'll find several documents that you'll need, and this will be put there together with the new CET. Thank you for keeping with us, and thank you, and thank you for paying your taxes. Thank you for enabling us as URA perform to the greatest expectation ever. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Gange ninyo Immaculate okuruga mu Uganda Revenue Authority, turi hano Hakaruzika Palace omuka gw'entare ya Toro, abantu nywena b'omutoro turiho kubamanyisa ija ha mukoro gwa budget breakfast hari hakari akotse sawa emwe echencha nechanyamushana bya busa
ekitongole ekisoro
Waitabo, tunamaliriza. And what are you doing throwing papers all over the place?
I'm looking for an invoice for a sound system and cables that I received yesterday, but I can't find it.
You know there is a way of keeping all this in one place and available to you as and when you need it.
I really wish there was one, because the way these invoices grow legs and disappear.
I believe this is what you're looking for.
Now how did it get there?
Tabo! Do you know that with EFRIS, you can stay on track of all your business transactions and improve on your record keeping?
How so?
Katituli ku computer with EFRIS. I just search using the fiscal document number and I retrieve the records I'm looking for. Bookkeeping becomes simple after that.
Kapo, awesome, yeah.
I began using URA's Kakasa solutions and now I'm in charge of my business, and you can as well.
Kakasa, be sure You are in charge of your business.
Uganda Revenue Authority. Developing Uganda together.